I have so many like friends say to me, oh my gosh, your business, it looks so amazing. You're so successful now and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel really successful though. But then at the same time, I look back at me like only 3 or 4 years ago and I'm like, damn, I'm successful compared to where I was.
Yes.
And I actually dreamed of this success that I'm having right now back then. But now because the bar has shifted, it's moved.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like success yet.
Yeah. Welcome to the Wild Roads. I'm Shonah Lee.
And I'm Paula Ivy. Join us for conversations about how we don't do stuff normal.
How we choose the wild roads of life. We want to show you all that's fun and possible, building businesses, making money,
navigating relationships and parenting, things we nerd out about,
and running at our wildest dreams.
Okay.
All right, Paula the Ivy. I've got a question for you to start off.
Yeah.
If you could take 3 musicians, past or present, to dinner, who would it be? So there's 4 of you around a table.
Okay, so just musicians or like rock musicians?
Just your favorite artist that it's more than just their music, I reckon.
Oh, well, this changes everything.
Well, nothing like throwing a spanner in.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, all right, okay. Because last week we both chose the Lenny Kravitz. That's a given. He's like already there.
Yeah.
Like, and this is our dinner party, and it's you, me, and Lenny, and then we're inviting 3 people. Is that right? Each?
Yes. Okay, that's good. Okay. I like that. Yes. Yeah, because I don't want to do a dinner party without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so me, Lenny, and Sean are hanging out at a dinner party. Okay, the 3 people that I would pick would be, all right, this is an eclectic mix.
Cool. That's what I love.
It's a very eclectic mix. Okay, so somebody who I look up to and for inspiration in so many different ways is Beyonce. Like, she just fascinates me because she can embody and amplify different parts of her personality, like through the different types of songs that she sings. But then also like her clothing brand, obviously, because it's Ivy Park, I have like, that's just, I don't understand why I don't even have any Ivy Park clothing. I need to get onto that.
Need some Ivy Park.
Yeah, the way that she creates the advertising and everything around Ivy Park is just so interesting and so different. And the way that she makes videos and those documentaries to go with her, like her touring and all of that sort of stuff, I think she would be absolutely amazing to talk to and just see how her brain works.
Yeah.
It's like, she's just like everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
she really is.
Definitely also Jamie Hintz from The Kills.
Ooh.
Hey, oh my gosh. I've seen him perform live like 3, maybe 4 times, I think. My husband, Brendan, has come with me all of those times, and he just understands that when we go and see The Kills play, that I just stand there the whole time and just kind of go, there's something about him. Like, he's legendary rocker type that, you know, drinks too much, smokes too much, does too many drugs, all of these sorts of things. So he's
rock and roll.
Yeah, total rock and roll. But when he performs, there's just something about him when he performs. And also he was married to Kate Moss, and she's like my favorite supermodel. So
yeah,
they're not together anymore. But when they were, I was like, oh my gosh. That was when actually Brendan and I were getting married, was just after they got married.
So wow, that's cool.
That felt awesome. So yeah, Jamie Hintz, and then also Elvis. Definitely Elvis.
Mate, the amount of questions I've got for Elvis.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
and we would have our dinner party in like a kind of like outdoor beach Hawaiian vibe type situation. So we can bring in the 60s beach party vibes, and he can serenade us with his guitar and play songs, and we can just sit there and swoon. And also learn how to do the hip shake and stuff. Elvis is everything.
Isn't he? I know. That's just made me rethink mine now. But no, I'm gonna stick with it. First of all, I would invite Alicia Moore, Pink.
Oh.
I think she has got so much depth to her, and she's hilarious, a bit like us. So that would work.
Totally. I love her.
She's amazing. She would just like, I think the conversations would be so fun, but also very in-depth and very cool. I think that I would also invite John Butler.
Ooh.
I love him. I love his music. I love his talent. I love his freedom. I love his passion for the environment, for other people, and bringing people up. Like, he just wants to bring people up all the time. I love that. I think that would be a really cool conversation as well.
Definitely.
And then John Lennon.
Oh,
I just think, you know, I would just love to get inside his brain. I know it's about peace, love, and happiness, but how he got, you know, the Beatles, mate. They are the most inspiring musicians to nearly every musician, regardless of genre, for songwriting. Like, you know, you can talk to the heaviest metalist and he'll say that, you know, the Beatles inspired him. You could talk to anybody, the Beatles inspired them. And I think John Lennon, with how he wanted to cure the world, I think that would be really, really cool. And then we'd get him tipsy and then ask him to write us a song for our intro.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
And then he could jam it out on the guitar with Elvis. Elvis could like get his guitar and like write the riff, and they could sing.
I'm pretty sure Elvis inspired the Beatles, so it would be pretty amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, coolness.
So if you'd like to come to our dinner party,
it'll be next Saturday at 5 p.m.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about parenting, doing our work the way we do it, whatever you name it. Mumpreneurs, solopreneurs, laptop businesses, working from home. We're not in a typical 9-to-5 job, and bringing up kids that way. I've done both while bringing up kids. I'm at the different spectrum. Mine are older and starting to leave home, and yours are young and monkeys. And this, I'm inspired by this conversation from your video that you sent me yesterday, with beautiful birds just climbing all over you, and you're screaming, going, Brady, no! And I'm just like laughing because it took me back to when my kids were hanging off me, and they don't anymore. It's just like, if I hear from my son, you know, he's nearly 19, once a week, that's huge. So working from home, like my kids over the last 3 years, especially as they were, you know, teenagers and wanted everything as they do, they, you know, I was at home working, but they almost assumed that I was doing nothing. It was like, you know, they didn't ask, you know, for anything from their, you know, because I've got step kids as well as my own kids, right? We've got a blended family. So my kids wouldn't ask their dad to go and get them something in the middle of the day because they knew he was at work. And the same with my bonus kids. But they all kind of said, you know, can you go do this? Can you do this? Can you take me here? Can you take me there? And it was constant. And it was like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. It was amazing because I have the ability to do that and be around my kids, and the conversations in the car were amazing. But at the same time, I was sometimes frustrated because I had all this work to do, and I might have been in the zone and just like pumping stuff out, and it was an interruption. And of course I could say no, or I could say I couldn't do it in half an hour or whatever. But it was constant, and I guess it was like I really wanted them to see that just because you're at a workplace, it doesn't mean it's more valuable or more respectful to have that as your choice of work or whatever it is, and they don't cross the lines there or the boundaries there. But I think I really wanted them to see that it's just as important. Our work that we do is just as important as being on site at a workplace. And I think they're getting that now. It was some really hard conversations, and like my son has, like he would just go, "So what do you actually do, Mum?" Like he knew I was designing and styling and stuff, right? And he's like, "So how does the money even come? Like, what do you mean? Like you?" And he just sort of couldn't get it, but he could get Dad going to work or Simon going to work, getting up in the morning, having a shower, get ready, have breakfast, and leaving, and then coming home at 5 p.m. He got that. But yeah, our type, it was just harder for him to comprehend.
Yeah, I guess it's also generational, because time for money has always been the norm with work.
Yes.
You put in these hours, you get paid this amount of money. That doesn't even make sense, Paula. This amount of money. You get this much for this amount of work. You do this within those hours, you get this amount of money. If you do this within these hours, you get this amount of money.
Yeah.
Like that is very much the normal. And then when you have your own business where, I mean, the biggest draw card for me for having my own business is that fluidity to be able to do things like that. But it's like, it's the beauty and the curse, because it's like, that's the beauty of it. We can take our kids to places, we can be at appointments, we can work around what everybody else needs as well as our own needs. But it's also the curse, because they're so used to us being available, they think that we're available all of the time. They're like, oh, you're here, you can help me.
Yeah,
oh, you're
that's
here,
right.
you can help me. Dad's at an office, so he can't help me right now because he's away at the office and he's doing his work. Right. And I guess also because what we do, and this is also the beauty of creating your own business and your own brand, is that you can build it around things that you love to do and things that you naturally do anyway. So for me, it's photography. If I'm taking photos, I still take photos of my family and of myself just for me. That's not for work, in inverted air commas. It's not for creating content. It's not for marketing things. It's just for me, because that's what I love to do. And that's why I built my business around this, because I naturally do it anyway. But then it's like they see me taking photos, but they don't always associate that with work, because I make it fun, because I make it like something playful that we can do together, because sometimes my kids are there and I include them in my work. So I guess that's where there can be this this crossover in, work life parenting, because we do that. That's like the thing that we're attracted to creating our own business, is so that we can do that. We can weave it all together. We can sometimes be doing work, but also parenting and doing all the things while we're working. But then also we do want to have times where it's just concentrating on the work. Concentrating on doing things that I know that I need to get done for my business. And I want peace and I want quiet and no interruptions to do that. But because we are working in and around everybody and everything else, and usually it's at home, because we're like, okay, cool, we are here taking care of other people as well, but then we weave the work in. So when we do want those moments to ourselves, it can be like, well, but you're here, so you can help me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you working right now, or aren't you working right now?
Yes, that's right. That's hard, isn't it? Because I guess, and when they're thinking, and it's a boundary that I had to put in place, and I probably didn't do it so well. But I think that's
the biggest thing, though.
It is,
when we
isn't
don't
it?
put that boundary in ourselves, when we don't have that clear within ourselves, within our energy of like, I'm working now and I've switched off from being a parent. they can feel when that switch hasn't happened. And I know so many times I'll sit down, I'll work, and I've been intentional. I'm like, okay, I've been giving my children my full attention for the past, hour and a half. And I've set them up with an activity, and I've said to them, I'm going to take 10 minutes now to work, and I would like not to be interrupted. And they get that. And when I put that in place, and I set them up, and they know they've been taken care of, and all their needs are met, and they're safe, and they're having fun, and they're happy to play on their own. I know it's different with older kids and younger kids, but I know for me, when I'm clear about that, they generally don't interrupt me. Yes, they do sometimes. But I guess if you're in an office working for other people, you would be working away doing whatever you do. And then you've got colleagues that come in and interrupt you halfway through. That's and right. Like, oh, can I just get this from you? Oh, you're in the office. I'll just talk to you about this. When sometimes it's like, no. But it's different when it is your own family, and it is those that you are responsible for taking care of.
That's it. And it's a constant switch of your work, well, inverted commas work, but what you're doing and mum. And it's that constant back and forth. And I think me being a nurturer, I was probably, my boundaries weren't as firm. And I would get up and make them a toasty or something when they got home from school, or, I would do that and then get frustrated at myself that, I've just got that thing to do, or I've lost it. I've lost that idea, And then and it's really like on reflection, I'm just like, you know what? Those kids were old enough to get themselves a toasty. Like, they can do it. And it was like, I probably set themselves up that, when, like, if you're at work and the kids, like older kids, come home from school and they can fend for themselves. They learn to fend for themselves. They learn to work out how to, if they want to go down the mall, if they want to go to the coffee shop, they catch a bus, or they just learn how to do that. But because I was available all the time, I was always doing that for them, and they didn't have to think for themselves because I was always there. So there's that as well. It's kind of like that normal bringing up and creating a human that's able to be a little bit independent. There's that as well. So there's a lot of reflection I've got of that. But you're right, like, it is a beauty and a curse, but I want to take the beauty mostly from it, because that's just what we do. Hey, like, that's why we do what we do. That's what I
choose to focus on, is the beauty of it.
Exactly.
Is the beauty of it, because I was saying this actually at school pickup to another parent, and we were talking about he has a son who's in the same preschool class as my son is. So this is the last year of preschool before next year he'll be in primary school. So he'll be going 5 days a week. At the moment he goes 3 days a week. So I'm very intentional to give him control over deciding what we do on at least one of those 2 days that he has at home with me. Yeah. Where he can decide where we go, what we play, when we play, how we do it, because I'm not going to have that opportunity with him again. And I feel so blessed to be able to do that. That's like hashtag cool. Blessed. Like, yeah, but I do. I really feel really grateful that I can do that with him, and I'm not working full time somewhere, and he's in care for those 2 days before he goes to school. And sometimes it's hard because I'm like, I really want to create this thing, or that would make a great post. I've got something coming through me right now. I want to write that down. I just want to quickly do something. I had a client just message me and I just want to quickly get back to them, blah, blah, blah. There's always something that will pop up that you kind of go, I just want to kind of do that. And then you feel like you get the mum guilt because you're like, I'm thinking about work when I'm with my child, because that's not presence. And what we really want to do with our children is presence. So this is the thing, like, this is the beauty and the curse of it, is that it really does show you where you have, I don't want to say lack of boundaries. I don't really like the word boundaries, but like, it's kind of like this fluid, it can be moved. It's not like a solid boundary. It's it's like you've got, okay, I'm doing work now, so I'm not available right now. You know, go find your dad to help you, or figure it out on your own. Like, obviously, when you've got younger kids like I do, some things I'm like, okay, I have to help you with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they are getting at the age, because my daughter is 7, my son is 4, almost 5. So they are getting to a point where they can do a lot of things themselves, and they're actually quite happy to do it. So they're like, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, go into the cupboard and pick something. And they're like, I can pick it. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And they'll go in there, and they actually feel kind of a bit special because they got to go in there and pick the food, and it wasn't something that I'm suggesting, and they're like, oh, let's pick like the most treatiest food I can find, sort of thing. So when you do that, that's what I expect. I'm like, oh, when they've got free range, they'll probably pick, you know, the least healthiest thing that they can possibly find in there. Yeah. But at the same time, the more that I give them that opportunity, the more they sort of, I don't know, they like self-regulate, and they're like, yeah, I could possibly pick that, but what I actually really feel like eating is this right now. And my daughter's actually really good. She'll always go for fruit first.
Yeah, cool.
And she'll always pick that first. But my son, on the other hand, he's just like, yeah, give me all the stuff. Give me all. What's got the most sugar in it? Give it to me.
Yeah, give it.
But yeah, you get the mum guilts for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get the work guilts, because you're like, oh, I'm not working enough. And
That's
then
what I mean.
come in, and you're like, I felt like I didn't even work for that. And then work stuff comes up, and then you might have, you know, clients that you took a little bit longer to get back to than what you usually do, and then you've got work guilt because you're like, oh my god, they're going to think that I'm like the worst person now because I took a little bit longer than usual to get back to them.
Yeah, you really do feel it from all angles. It's a constant tug of war. It is to me. But it was really cool what you said before about, you know, being present and stuff. And I assumed, I mean, my kids are 19 and 17 and 16. Like, I'm thinking it's a long time ago when my kids were that little. It feels like yesterday, but it's a long time ago. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to remember whether I was, you know, made that, like, anchored in that presence when they were at kinder and had days off. I'm sure I did. I don't have any ill memories of it. But at this age, nostalgia kicks in. Nostalgia kicks in really hard. And you go back and you think, did I do enough? Did I read enough books to them? Did I play with them enough? Did I get down on ground level and just put Lego together enough with them enough? Did I, you know, just draw and paint enough? Like, that's what happens when you get to this point. And I think, you know, if I could just offer advice to younger mums, like, just like really anchor that presence that you have now and somehow create the life where you can do the work, be mum, do the work, be mum, and of course it's balance and it's foundations, but you're in charge. Every single day you're in charge of creating this, and you can create it the way you want to create it. And guilt will always pop in, and there'll be always something, but if you can just work through it and know that at the end of the day that you've done the best you can in both of those worlds, I think that's when there's no regrets.
I got goosebumps when you were talking then. It's just as much about being present with your kids and giving them what they need as much as it is giving you what you need. And I mean, this is why we do the work that we do. This is why we don't work for other people, because we're doing what is calling our soul to do, which is to create from what we know.
Yeah.
And I know I am a much better parent when I get space to create each day. I can be more present. I can switch that off when I know that I have done something already today, that I have created, that I have contributed, that I have, you know, served in some way from what I'm doing, whether it is I'm in the middle of like doing a course or launching something or working with clients in some way. When I've had that space, I can be more present with my kids. If I don't give myself that space, then I'm not present with my kids when I'm with them. I can be physically present, but I'm not mentally present with them because I'm thinking about, oh shit, I've also got to do this.
That's right.
Oh, but exactly. I've got like 5,000 things that I need to do for my business today, and I haven't even done one of them.
Yeah, that's
so that's why I get up at ridiculous o'clock. Like I get up at 5 a.m. Actually, my alarm is set for 4:44 a.m. I usually get up when my alarm goes off, but sometimes I'll hit snooze a few times. But that's why I get up at that time, because that's me making sure that I start the day by giving myself a space where I can create, where I can connect to myself, how I'm feeling, what's coming through me. Are there anything that I need to get done today? And then by the time my kids have woken up, I've actually done something. So to me, for the rest of the day, it doesn't matter if I get to have more time to do something or not. I've already accomplished something.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've already done some work today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. And I just wanted to mention too that, like, you know, people, we're choosing what we like, soul-led stuff, but some, you know, for some women and mothers, soul-led stuff is a career in the workforce, right? And so that's and so they're juggling as well, you know, their kids and trying to find that creative time so they get to be creative and more present with their kids as well. And I know that I was juggling 4 jobs when my kids were little. I was, well, obviously I was had my interior design business, but that wasn't full time at that stage, and I was working for a building company and as their color consultant. So there was that. Then I was working at a tile shop on a Saturday morning and a Wednesday afternoon, and then I was waitressing twice a week.
Oh my gosh.
Just to work around my kids so that I could pick them up and stuff like that. But so, you know, I know that juggle, I know that side of it, and to get your creative time is really difficult. But you're right. Like, if you don't have your me time, you don't have that capacity or that space to be able to be really, really present with the kids. And I did have that, especially that year, because it wasn't sustainable.
No way.
It was definitely a year that I went, oh, my kids just turned 6. Where did that go? You know? And it was just like clockwork. Drop him off to school, take my daughter to kinder or whoever was looking after her, and then it was just every day was the same, and it was just a really hectic time in my life. So I get both sides. I definitely do. And working with kids, working around your kids is beautiful, and it's a privilege, but also you get to create it. But you need to make sure that you're creating that presence and that space for yourself. That's the biggest thing. So you can be the best you can be. Yeah.
And I think the other thing about it is the thinking that you've got to show up in a certain way. Yeah. So many people I know that I've worked with, they're like, oh, but I've got kids, so I can't do this right now. I can't do that right now. I can't take photos right now. I can't sit down and write a post right now. I can't do a live stream. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm like, my kids are pretty much with me all of the time. But now, I mean, we traveled around Australia for almost a year, for 11 months, and I had everybody with me 24/7. Yeah. And I'm like, you get to do that. If a kid walks in halfway through a live stream, it's okay. Like, yes, people actually enjoy it because they're like, oh my God, she's human.
That's a great point, actually.
Because they don't see it. They don't know. Like, if you're doing a live stream, for example, and you've set your kids up with something in another room, maybe your husband is home or a partner is home, or you've got your parents over, or you have a nanny, or whatever the situation is, and you take, 5-10 minutes to do a live stream, to do a video for something. If your kid comes in because they want you, and, the other day I was doing a live stream in my membership because we're running a course in there at the moment. And halfway through the live stream, my kid came in and announced that he needed to go to the bathroom, and I was the only one that could go and help him. And I was like, I'm kind of in the middle of something here, dude. Like, can you go ask that?
How cool is this real life stuff?
Do it
because
I want you. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I didn't think that the course was any less valuable, or that I was any less excuse me,
professional,
of a teacher or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because my kid came in and told me that he wanted me to help him in that moment.
There's so much pressure, I reckon, around being professional online. And no joke, like 10 years ago online, like for me, like it was rampage. Like if my child come into the workforce, it's just kind of like, oh, that's a bit unprofessional. Like it's a little bit, don't do that, you know? And especially online, if kids went on a live online, well, lives went around 10 years ago, but on a video, it was kind of like, oh, you need to edit that out because that's really unprofessional. But
or if you hear them in the background.
Yeah, now it's the new normal. And I love that because it's real life, and there's opportunities for kids to go to mum's work, and the workplace is changing a little bit. I'm sort of not keeping up completely, but I have seen and read where, you know, it's okay to breastfeed your kid at work and all that sort of thing. That wasn't around when I was, you know, in the workforce. But yeah, I think I think the professionalism is a thing. Like it's just being real, being humans, being mums. I think it's amazing that we get to. No one has that expectation anymore.
No, and I think it's amazing because how much more can we actually accomplish if we allow ourselves to be where we're at?
Yeah.
And not have to put on a persona for work or for this or for that. Like I can accomplish so many more things because I don't have to worry about hiding the fact that I'm a mum.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to hide that I'm a parent and that I have my kids at home with me right now, or that, you know, they're in the next room or anything like that. And it actually, a lot of the women in particular that follow me because I have kids.
Yes.
And it might not necessarily be that they're following me because they want to do my courses. They just find it inspiring to watch content from somebody who has children too.
Yeah, yeah.
And who is also creating a business.
It's evidence that it can work.
Because you inspire people in so many different ways when you are who you are.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. It's so much to that. And it's hard to believe that it was, like, you know, we've been doing this for a long time and we kind of forget that others are still fearing that there's fears around it and worry about showing up and being, and how, like there's a lot of, how do I do this? How do I do what you do?
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know where to start. Like, how do I actually do that though? And I'm like, well, you just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get that because I was like that too. I would watch people and I'm like, oh, I'd love to just be able to go live and just have life happening around me while I did it. And I'm like, now I do it. And that's the thing. Like, I really love that is possible.
Yeah, that's right. It is. It's not. But the thing is, there's, you know, when people say, well, you just decide and you do it, it's kind of like there's the middle road to that too. There's a lot of work to do in that. You know, it's not like a reel where we just click our fingers and we're doing it. You know, it's there's work, but it's just getting support and being around people that have done it, and, you know, or coaches or masterminds or courses, whatever you need to do. Like, jump in those groups and get the support that holds your hand on that journey to get there. It's not impossible.
Support is everything.
It is.
Like, having putting yourself in spaces where you are supported, because so many I hear so many people, it's happened for me, like you'll have people around you who will give you their opinions, try and give you like helpful advice because you're doing something that's not normal. They're like, oh, but, you know, is that really safe? Like, working for yourself, like, at least if you got the security of a job.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everything's routine and it's the same every day. And then you could get help with this, and you know how to structure that and all of the things. Like, I can't do the routine. I can't do, like, I even struggle with school drop off and pickups. I'm like, no, I really don't want to even do that. But it's like, there'll be so many people around you because that's such the norm, that when you do stuff outside of the norm, that they will try to share with you with love, like what they think and what you need to be doing and all of these things. But it's so important to have support around you with people who are doing the same things as what you're doing, that are in the same boat, that are doing the same things, who get it. Because
that's right.
They're who I look to for advice and for help and for support. And and although it kind of feels a little bit heartbreaking to begin with, there will be people in your life that don't agree with you doing what it is that you do and how you do it, especially how you do it. Oh my gosh, I get so many constructive feedback messages from family in particular, like, oh, you said this on a live stream and you did this, and do you really think that's professional? And oh, that's not gonna and people aren't going to want to work with you if you're doing it that way, because all they know is what is the norm. When things are different, it's only because they love you that they're just concerned, because it's just so different to what they've ever experienced. But at the same time, that's not where we go to get support. That's not where we go to lean into when it does feel hard, because it still feels hard.
It is hard.
It doesn't feel like a flow every single day.
No, that's right. That's right. It is hard. But I think that's the bonus when we keep going and doing what feels right, is that we actually show them, those the ones that are giving love and saying, but you know that you should be doing this. It's because they don't know. They haven't got the evidence that it works. They don't get it because they can't see it. But by us doing it, we're leading the way and we're showing them, and they go, oh, she didn't die. She's okay. You know.
She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
Oh, she's actually making money now. Oh, okay. Oh. Go you.
Yeah. Oh my God, she's happy.
Hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have results to show, because you're like, I just feel called to do this thing. And it takes time to like build up a customer client base and a community and people that start to really start to follow you for the work that you do, and then they share it and your community grows and all of those sorts of things. To be able to see that from the outside and go, oh, I can see her her follows have gone up, so people are obviously connecting with her and it's going well. Oh, there's a lot of people commenting on her posts now. Oh, it's going well now. Oh, she's saying about how much she's made in her business. She's celebrating a new client. She's doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually see it now that it's happening. But the thing is, like, it doesn't happen straight away. And it's a different journey for everybody when they go into business for themselves, is how long it takes for things to really, like, take off.
Exactly.
It's different. And it always feels like, even though, you know, now I have so many like friends say to me, oh my gosh, your business, it looks so amazing. You're so successful now and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't feel really successful. But then at the same time, I look back at me like only 3 or 4 years ago and I'm like, damn, I'm successful compared to where I was.
Yes.
And I actually dreamed of this success that I'm having right now back then. But now, because the bar has shifted, it's moved.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like success yet.
Yeah.
Which is also another interesting thing. Like, you always feel like you're just about to take off, because then you reach another milestone and you're like, all right, I'm just about to take off to get to the next one.
That's it. And I think it's great, because then you get to, you know, it just doesn't stop you like from, you know, just chilling out in the chair. Okay, I've made it. Let's chill out. Like, you don't do that.
Oh my God.
We just like keep going. And I think what a bloody role model. What an amazing role model for your children, to keep pushing through, to keep following your dreams, following your desires.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of feeling stuck in something that makes you miserable, that you I don't know, that you just don't know a way out of. Exactly. So, oh wow, I just think, yeah.
And for them to be able to see that too, I think that that's one of the biggest things, is that because I'm at home and my kids are around me a lot while I am working, and I'll say, like, when I say to them, you know, I'm working, like, I know when they were younger, they didn't understand what I was like. I'm like, I need to work. And they're like, I don't know what that is. Sorry, Mom. Like, just come play with me. now they're starting to get it. And you know, when I say things like, oh, you know, mummy's doing some work right now. And if they say things like to me like, oh, why are you working? I don't want you to work. I'm like, well, you know how we bought this the other day and we buy our yummy foods and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's what mummy does. Like my work provides those things for us. And if you want nice things and yummy foods to eat, then mummy's got to do some work too. And they're like, oh, okay, you go do your work. Like they get
that.
But
do you know what? That doesn't stop.
Yeah.
My 16-year-old daughter is kind of like, oh, why can't you take me to this? And it's just like, because I've got to work. And it's like, oh, you're always like, and I'm also saying, well, you want that dress to, you know, to wear, like you want to buy that dress kind of thing. That's
well,
what we're going to do. And it's like, oh, yeah. And exactly the same thing. She's like, yeah, you go do that work. That's cool, Mum. Go do that work. Yeah. You got to remind them. You have to remind them every step of the way. But
yeah,
that's what parenting is, hey. It's like bringing up epic humans to do epic stuff in the world. And I think, you know, that's the beauty and the curse, but mostly beauty of it all.
Definitely. And I love that they can see it too. That work, because when I was growing up as a kid, and the thought of like, oh, we finished school and then we've got to go get a job, and nobody likes their job. Yeah. Like I didn't know anybody who had a job that they loved. Both my parents had jobs and they were like, yeah, it's work. We just got to work hard for our money and then we can enjoy ourselves. Yeah. Like that was the mentality I was brought up with. So I didn't have a lot of examples of people who really enjoyed the work that they did. It was always hard work for this certain amount of money that felt like it was never enough. And that they always needed a bit more, but they had to stay at the job and all of these things that I think it's really beautiful that now there's so many different job opportunities. There's so much flexibility in how we can work and how we can, you know, share things that we have with the rest of the world, even if it is a conventional, you know, job and working for somebody else, or if it's a business that you're making up. It can literally be anything. And well, it can. It's amazing for them to see, oh, work doesn't have to look like me going to a place for 9 to 5 and not liking it and just doing it for money, rather than, oh, work is like soul work. Work is what we do to fulfill ourselves. Work is what we do to feel good. Work is what we do to create and to feel connected.
That's a beautiful point, because I didn't even think about this before, but, you know, my Indie, she tried the retail after school job and hated it. And that was okay. And now she's selling her art. She's an amazing artist on Etsy. That's her side hustle. That's her after school work, you know, to make pocket money to, you know. And that's like, probably if I hadn't have been on this journey, we wouldn't have got to that point, and I probably would have pushed her as a parent to go, no, you need a part-time job. All the kids are doing that. They all got part-time jobs.
We now earn money. Go and work at the local after school.
Yes, exactly. And so now I'm just like, no, kids, you do what makes you happy. You be creative. You do whatever it is. You are never stuck.
Yeah.
I got to take off. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back.
We will be back
with something else that can slap you up against the head.
Yeah,
but in a fun way.
It's the warmth, the slap with love.
Yeah, I don't know.
something. All right, I'm out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, Rose.